guys, it's me, Mrs. Bush. We're going to do a little flipped classroom action when we learn about the cells. So today we're going to talk about the plant and the animal cell. We talked about that yesterday. There's a lot of information that we need to learn about both of them. So the plant cell we can recognize because of one important factor, its shape. It is square in shape and it has a very stiff outer wall. Maybe you know what that's called. Think about it. Cell wall. So we've got the cell wall on the plant, and then we've got the animal cell. The animal cell is circular. Circular, like a circle. It doesn't have a cell wall, but it does have a cell membrane. So does the plant cell. They both have the cell membrane. That's a similarity if you ask me. So we know that the plant cell is square and the animal cell is circular. So now let's talk about some other parts inside of these cells. Both the plant, square, and animal, circle, have a nucleus. The nucleus is the boss. Have you ever liked to be the boss of something? Be in charge and tell everyone what to do? That's what the nucleus does. The nucleus is also called a control center. It tells all the other parts inside of it, hey, you do this. Hey, you make the energy. Hey, you make sure who comes in and out of the cell. Pretty important job. So we refer to the nucleus as the boss. The nucleus is a circle. It's like a mini circle inside of the big circle, animal cell, and the square plant cell. So that's an important part because without the nucleus, the other parts wouldn't know what to do. So let's move along. Another important part, my favorite part, is the mitochondria. I like to say that the mitochondria is a lot like me. It's hyper, it's full of energy, and it's super important because without the mitochondria, the cell would be like this. Blah, no energy. So the mitochondria is kind of like this in shape. We would say like maybe like an oval, and then inside the oval, it has like a little squiggly. So when I draw the mitochondria, I would draw a oval and a little squiggly inside. And when I do the squiggly, it makes me think of being hyper and having lots of energy. So draw the squiggly with a lot of energy, being really hyper. So when you can think of the mitochondria, or when you think of the mitochondria, you can just think of Miss Bush. Hyper, full of energy. I'm pretty much like a mitochondria in real life. So the mitochondria is in both the plant and the animal cell. There's more than one, then they call it the mitochondrion. And this is an important part because this is where the cell gets its energy. And without it, it wouldn't be able to do anything. So we've got the nucleus, the boss, the mitochondria, the hyper one, and then we've got the blood of the cell. I don't really like blood, but you have to have it. If we didn't have blood in our bodies, we would have parts just sitting there and they wouldn't be floating in place. So we have the blood of the cell, and that is called the cytoplasm. And some of you that may know stuff about medical things, there is plasma in our blood. So when I think of cytoplasm, I think of plasma blood and plasm from cytoplasm. They kind of sound alike, so it makes me think of the blood of the cell. So the cytoplasm is what keeps all the parts in the certain areas that they need to be in. So it's made of water, and it's kind of like gels. It's kind of like the jello-y stuff. So if you've got the nucleus, here's your outer part of the cell. You got your little nucleus, your mitochondria, and around it, and those other parts is the cytoplasm. So it kind of holds everything in place and it keeps everything in the cell where it needs to be. Because without the cytoplasm, every part in the cell will just point to the bottom, and that's not going to work. So the cytoplasm is really important because it kind of says, hey, you stay there, I'm floating around you. You stay there, I'm floating around you. So the cytoplasm is an important part as well. And it is in both the plant and the animal cell. So far we've talked about the nucleus, the boss, the mitochondria, the hyper one, and the cytoplasm, the blood of the cell. So let's stop, take some notes in our journal, talk about it, and then we'll continue.